get it out of my throat. After playing it,
Yes.
he's too good at it.
Have you got a Clifford book?
Chad, just
And here I am, following sitting around with my eyes.
Take a picture, Daddy, now.
There's Dad.
This is our new house.
There's Mom. Yeah, let's take a look at the side of our house. There's the Mercedes, there's the driveway, and there's Dad.
Oh, Miss Chad. There's Chad. Say hello, Chad. What do you have to say for yourself? Anything? Nothing to say? Yeah, no problem.
This is me! Hi, I'm the retard. Don't pay me.
Let me have the camera, and then you can do a little narrating, and we'll go from there. So what do we have to say for ourselves? We'll start with Mr. Blake Scheifele here. What? Nothing. I'm zooming in. What do you have to say for yourself? Nothing.
I think another difficult thing that I'm struggling with, watching those videos, going through photos, which I haven't, gone through in years. So when something like this happens, it's like it brings you back to reality. You're kind of faced with having to go back and reflect and reminisce. And it's really sad too, because so many memories, so many things happened here, and I forgot about it. But I guess that's how life goes. You live your life, you move on, there's phases of your life, and that's how it is. But 20-something years, over 2 decades of my life was spent making memories here, and you take things for granted. You take a lot of things for granted. And unfortunately, only until something is gone do you actually sit down and you kind of reflect and really appreciate what you had.
Okay. Here's the front view, right up of the house. It's about one of the best shots you'll get. And what we're going to do is we're going to enter into the house here in about a second. So you can see the circular driveway right here. There's the big bins here, and try to catch the rest of this. There's a nice mirror. Oh, there's me. I see myself in the mirror right now. Let's zip right in on myself. Let me see if I'm doing this correctly. Yeah, I think I definitely am. Okay. It's not going to be close.
Thank you. I'm waiting for my gift. Yours, sweet girl.
They look like the original Dorothy.
Look at that princess.
You just happen to be a rabbit here. So what do you got to say?
Left over Looking forward to next Christmas.
Can't wait for it here. The attitude. We're hoping to get the birds. We're trying to get the birds.
This was my father's pride and joy. When I watched those videos and I watched my dad document room to room everything. The space, the fireplaces, the antiques, the exterior, walking around the property, one of a kind. There's no place like this.
And it is, as I remind you, the way it was 270 years ago. Once again, back at the Plantation House, my name is Carl Scheifele, your host for today. Of course, our cameraman is Chad Scheifele, and down there is Blake, who is still attempting to try to snowboard, but not doing very well. If you look this way, you'll see the front entrance to the Plantation House. And Chad, if you can just zoom in a little bit on that, we can get a good shot.
The sound, the passion, the happiness in his voice.
And how are you making out with the camera?
Good.
Is your dad still in focus?
Yes.
Okay, keep me in focus now. You have to always do that. That's very important.
Was also something that I forgot about as well.
We have our Christmas tree, as you can see. And we have our train set. I'm going to see if I can zip it on this train set. Now, this is an antique train set. I say it's probably about 80 years old. And I'm going to do a little bit of filming of the house here. I'm going to show everybody at Christmas time here what we have. So we're going to go walk around here a little bit. We're going to cover the room. And we'll take it from there. So you see we have pictures on the walls and things like that. And we come down here and we have our little antique dummy. And I don't mean Chad. This is our little dummy here. What's his name, Chad? Charlie? And a little antique rocker. And then there's a nice little tree. Charlie, right?
Anybody that does not appreciate this is just from another planet. This has got to be the element of perfect atmosphere. Unfortunately, it seems like I'm the only one who really appreciates this kind of atmosphere, but I don't know.
Over the course of the last few months, Blake and I have been renovating the place, doing a lot of landscaping. Cleaning up the house, reorganizing the house to make it livable again. Because the condition it was in when my father passed, it was not very good. This is like, I don't know which week this is, but we had somebody come out and dig out all the cattails. It's cleared out and it's still really bizarre to look at because it's been so long since I've actually seen it in this form. So Blake and I now are just seating around the perimeter. We're doing this for you, Dad, and I hope we make you proud when it's all over and said and done. So stay tuned. It's actually starting to feel like a home again. Before it felt like just, I don't know how to describe it. It was just a storage unit. And this trip, Blake and I have been up here many, many times, but this trip was the first time I actually started to see the place come back alive again. And especially this room, the dining room / living room. And so it's broken up into two sections how it originally was when we first moved into the house back in '98. And the feeling that I got when we kind of staged the room, it's not obviously finished yet. There's still storage boxes that we gotta put away and all that kind of stuff, but it was the first time in 20-something years I got a gut feeling. Like it was just, I can't describe it, but it was an overwhelming feeling of this feels like a home again. And it brought me back to when we first moved in and how I felt then.
This one nice room. This has a hardwood floors. These are finished, and then I'll show you the fireplace. Here's the fireplace, plastic pull down. It is definitely a big walk-in fireplace, and you can see the crane, which they used to put the pot on to do their cooking, and of course, once again, the Dutch oven off to the right. And we'll get another view of it here. Oh, Hannah?
It's really nice.
Everybody thinks I'm gonna play golf.
Here, let me go get it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's really nice.
everybody thinks I'm gonna play golf.
Yep.
Recently, about a couple weeks ago, Blake and I returned back to my dad's house at 1660 Little Conestoga Road, and this was the first time that we left the trip to go back to Florida feeling like we completed a major phase in the whole process. We've been through 5 or 6 dumpsters. It's amazing, you don't really know how much crap you have in your house until you start throwing shit out. In the very beginning, we did all kinds of landscaping work. We exposed the house. There was this line of trees, about 8 trees, that were half dying, and they were like 3 feet tall when we first moved in, and then they grew up to, I don't know, probably like 20-something feet high. And we got rid of those trees and completely opened the view. So when you look out the front of the house, you can see all the way down and straight through into the other field. And it's just an amazing sight. It looks phenomenal. Something we've been wanting to do forever is get electric out to the barn. So it wasn't very pleasant, it was messy at first, but we dug a handful of trenches and we ran electricity, wiring, all the way out to the barn and then also to the main front pillars of the house, right when you enter the circular driveway. So now the pillars have electricity with the lanterns on top of them, where the lines are, and then we have full power running out to the barn. So now there's electricity out there. So we cleared out completely the side little garden area, and what we did was we bought a really cool statue. So we poured a concrete foundation, and then one of our contractors, who's been extremely helpful in doing a lot of this work on the property, he took his tractor and lifted the statue, and we put it in place to where it needs to be. So now it's completely standing up on its own, and we have lights that illuminate it. So at nighttime, it looks really cool with everything lit up, in combination with all the new lights that we have out in the pillars in the front and the back of the house. So that looks really, really cool. Derek Lund is someone who was one of my very first friends that I made when we made the move up to Glenmore in 1998, and he's been a great friend since then. He's also been instrumental in helping Blake and I throughout this whole process. So in the beginning, when we had to start cleaning out the house, throwing stuff out, moving furniture, since Blake and I live in Florida, he was extremely helpful in being our boots on the ground, eyes on the ground when we weren't there. So he's been checking up on the house. In the beginning, when my cat was still living there, the cat lived there for a few months after my father passed, and Derek would come and feed him and take care of him and make sure he was okay. I'm extremely grateful to have him as a friend, but also very grateful that he was able to be around in order to, check up on those things for us. Blake and I gutted out and cleared out the top of the garage. It's satisfying finally being able to clear out all those areas of the house, the attic, the basement, the top of the garage, and purge the things that have just been lingering around for all these years that weren't useful, and then also letting go of certain things. One of the most difficult things thus far in the process was watching them come take the car and drive it off. I mean, that car was a very predominant vehicle in my life. To see it get chained up and then just taken away was very depressing, very sad, because it was almost as if a part of my father was being erased. That was a difficult day, but we had to do something with it, and it had to go. So that was probably one of the hardest moments in this whole process so far, was to watch that go.
Yeah, Chad, it's your dad. It's Sunday. I see you called. I'm calling you back. Get a chance, give me a holler back. Thanks. Yeah, Chad, it's your dad. Get a chance, give me a call back. Talk to you. Yeah, Chad, it's your dad. Just want to make sure you do have a key. I'm not going to arm the house unless you want me to arm the house. But if you're not coming home, then I just let me know. All right? I'll talk to you soon. Love you. See you later.
And I can't really put words to it. Hearing his voice, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, good morning, Chad. It's your dad. Just checking to see if your address is still the same. Please acknowledge. I'm going to send this up. Thanks.
So, sitting down and going through all the voicemails on my phone that he left me is extremely unsettling experience, because it just makes it feel all that more real. It feels like I could just pick up the phone and call him back, and you're kind of in a state of denial because you won't have that chance ever again.
That's all I'm saying is if you're sure, then we might as well do it today. But if you want to live with it a few weeks or months, that's fine too.
Okay. Yeah, when you put them in and everything.
after we did the horse fencing and whatnot, we were like, might as well just keep going. And so we actually redid the dock at the pond. Mainly, most of the boards were rotted and falling apart. If you walked on it, you felt like at any moment you could fall right through into the water. So we were like, let's just take care of this too as well, and pretty much put in new boards and got the dock back up to snuff again. It's kind of interesting in a way that we're restoring the property to, in a sense, its original form.
February 28th. Be there. Tomorrow we have a whole bunch lined up. Yeah. Is Simpson coming?
20-something years is a long time, but it's amazing how things can just deteriorate when you don't pay any attention to it. It's amazing how overgrown the property became in that amount of time. It was only until I started watching those home videos and going through all the old photos of when we first moved into the house that I was reminded how clean and open the property was. I feel like he would be extremely proud and happy of what Blake and I have accomplished thus far with the property.
And just a tremendous property. Just look at this. And this is the driveway. You just drive up and you can see this view is unbelievable.
So another thing that my father had been wanting to do for many, many years is that there was a third floor, he called it the maid's quarters. It was just an unfinished part of the attic. The floor was all messed up. It was just pretty decrepit looking. I can't remember the exact year, but a black walnut tree used to stand right next to the driveway. One year, a storm came through and knocked it over. So my dad actually sent it out to get turned into boards. And his goal was to use those floorboards to finish off the maid's quarters. After the boards came back, the boards just sat up in the attic for years. So here we are all these years later, and Blake and I just took the initiative and said, hey, we have the wood. It's what Dad wanted to do. So we had the floorboards installed. My father would have wanted it to be completed, so we checked it off the list. I get a little tight in here, right?